Your first photo shoot. This is just going to be for setup. So whether you're on a phone or you're on your iPad, I want to tell you a few things. Number one, all of your photos have to be taken outdoors. Number two, you need to take your photos during daylight hours. So avoid night. You can't always control number three, but photographers love overcast days that are very cloudy. It just makes everything look a little bit more vibrant when you take the photos. Now, if you find yourself having a really sunny day that you have to shoot in, try to find an area that has a nice solid shaded area. And that's where you want to place your subject. Now, in photography class, we always shoot outside. So even if the weather is not desirable, we shoot in the rain, sometimes the snow, in the wind, when it's cold, when it's very warm. So just prepare yourself. If it's going to rain, you could always wrap your camera in a plastic sleeve, like a bread bag, something that's like thick, or just, maybe go over or underneath an overhang. But you do have to do all of your photos outside no matter what the weather is. Now, again, if it is a sunny day, you don't want to point your camera or your device into the sun. You want to make sure that your back is to the sun. If you're pointing your camera at the sun, you're going to get silhouettes. So sometimes silhouettes can be very beautiful, but they should be planned and done just right with the proper equipment. So for this class, we are not going to be pointing at the sun. I want you to be pointing away from the sun. Please don't use any filters on your cameras. So make sure, even though some of them look really, really cool, I'm going to show you the proper way to edit your photos once we get them into the editing system. So please just take the photo natural and don't use any of your camera filters. Do not use the zoom feature. That is just going to magnify the pixels that are already there. And when you magnify the pixels, you're going to lose quality. So avoid zooming in because everything's just going to get really pixelated. So if you need to enlarge something in the viewfinder, just get closer. Okay, for this next section, pay close attention. This is the do not do list. So one thing I don't want you to do is I don't want you to be a gatherer. I don't want you to go collect a bunch of things maybe from inside your house or maybe just from in nature and stack them up as a still life and then take a picture of them. Instead, I want you to go find things more that are in nature, naturally. Next, this is a biggie for me, the ball in the yard. I want you to avoid taking the picture of the ball in the yard. This has been done a lot, and it usually seems to be the natural thing. Maybe somebody has kicked a ball into the yard, or you go and get it out of the garage and you don't know what to take pictures of, so you take a picture of the ball in the yard. So avoid that. Next, swings and play sets and anything plasticky. Avoid taking pictures of those things. Next, no people in your shots. So I want you to avoid taking pictures of people at this point. So until you learn your portrait assignment where I show you how to take pictures of people, I want you to avoid taking any pictures of people. I also want you to avoid taking any pictures of anything that is in motion. That doesn't mean that pets are on this list. However, if you have a very still pet, you could take a picture of your pet. However, if your pet is running and jumping around and it's going to be all in motion, I don't want you to capture that just yet. Okay, now chances are you have taken a photo with your device that you're going to be using. So whether that's your camera that you're going to put pictures in using Wi-Fi, or if it's your iPad, or if it's your phone, you've probably taken photos with it before. But watch this part, and this is the way that I want you to set it up for photography class. Now, I do have a disclaimer. I am doing this demonstration inside. I had to do it in kind of a controlled atmosphere due to the way I was videoing it. You do have to do yours outside. So I only did this inside because I had to videotape it. If you have a live photo option, you want to make sure that is turned off. Do not use flash, so turn your flash off. This part is pretty important. So whatever your subject is, you want to make sure that is what is in focus. So to make sure that it's in focus, you are going to press and hold, and that is going to put a little box around that part, and then it's going to say AF lock, and that means autofocus lock, and that will make sure that that subject is in focus. And what it also does is it exposes the scene so that the camera is lighting the subject so that that subject is what is well lit. I'd like to talk about framing your subject. Believe it or not, but what you find to take your picture of is the subject, and the things around it are just as important to think about as the subject itself. Let's dissect this scene a little bit. This sphere here is our subject, so that's what we want our audience to focus on. So we don't need this pen over here because that really doesn't add to the scene at all. Now even this diagonal line creating this triangle corner over here, there's a painting in the background. My eye's gonna go there, and there's nothing over there that I want my audience to see. And then this big tray. There's no reason to have this in the picture. So what I need to do is I need to start eliminating things. So I need to position this subject where I want it, and I need to start moving my body. I need to move my feet. I need to start adjusting things out of the background so that they aren't distracting. There's a saying in photography, keep subtracting until it breaks. You know, and when you're not in photography class, when you're an artist that's drawing, you keep adding things to a page until you're done with your art. Well, in photography, you keep subtracting and subtracting until the only thing left is the subject or subjects that you really want people to focus on. So if there's anything at all in the scene or on the borders, it's your job to eliminate those. So slide things away, make sure that nothing in that background is distracting, because that can be a very, very different picture. Even things like light and reflections can steal the attention of the subject. So make sure you're always repositioning and getting your subject and looking at every aspect of the image so that you know what belongs there and what does not. Okay, so for your first photo shoot assignment, what I would like you to do is take 24 photos. They have to be outdoor photos only, and I want you to use the advice that I just told you. My goal is for you to have a focus. So I want to make sure that your shots are not blurry. So you're using the press and hold system so that you are capturing a autofocus point. I want you to make sure your flash is turned off. You're doing this outside during daylight hours, and you are finding subjects that are not people. Your subjects should be still. Your subjects should be interesting. Now, all you have to do today is just capture the photos. Don't worry about having to turn them in. I just want you to go out and capture the photos. The next time we meet, I will show you how you will get these photos off of your device and into Schoology so that I can see them. Now, I do have a very strict homework policy. If you do not take photos in photography class, you do not have a second chance. So this assignment is worth 200 points. You either do it or you don't do it. So this cannot be submitted late or at a later date. So you do have to do it today. If you were to submit this late, you would not get the homework credit. All right, have fun exploring and shooting, everyone.